Hail and well met. Welcome to the Path Arcana campaign on the Dungeon Scrawlers. We are in the middle of the Path of the Magician, the first part of our campaign, and our heroes are now on a boat. Woo! But before we get to that, I am Eric Scott DeB, the DM of this campaign, and several other things here on the Dungeon Scrawlers channel. You can find my work online if you look up my name, Eric Scott DeB. I am currently writing a bunch of superhero fiction for my Justice Vengeance line, which wrapped up the Kickstarter successfully about a month ago. I'm very excited, and if you, anyone watching, backed the Kickstarter, you will start getting stuff very soon. So with that, take it away, Allie.
Hi, everybody. I am Alexandra Pitchford, or Allie to most folks. You can come in, well, words. Uh, I'm a writer. You think I'd be better at this? I am a writer and game designer and TTRPG streamer, and generally can be found lots of places. But I do want to take a sec to tell folks about one of our sponsors, which is, as ever, Idle Champions. Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is a strategy game that unites iconic Dungeons and Dragons characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure, including Farida, Havilar, and Mehen from the Brimstone Angels novels, and so many more. The game is available for PC and Mac on Steam and web, Epic Game Store, Google Play, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, iPad, iPhone, and on all Android devices. And right now, Festival of Fools runs until next Monday. Play the event to earn Myria, one of the best tank supports for evil formations, I am told. Also, Idle Champions presents Fury of the Black Rose is entering its final session this next Monday. Log in every day to vote and influence the events of the game and earn free rewards. For more information, check out idlechampions.com.
Excellent.
Hey, I'm Rhiannon Held. I write urban fantasy. The Silver Series is Rhiannon Held, and space opera is RZ Held. My main space opera series is now complete. So if you like looking at questions of identity and technology, and also badass characters with wings and all kinds of sci-fi action, those are for you. And I have two partners to tell you about also. Both make dice. Norse Foundry specializes in metal dice. When you roll them, it feels like you are skillfully smashing the rigid armor of the monster horde. We offer dice and gaming accessories at norsefoundry.com. And Phoenix Dice is named for the creature that rises from the ashes because they use all recycled materials. You can find their dice and accessories at phoenixdice.com.
And I am Brian Cortillo. I am a writer, game designer. My most recent work, you can find some of my stuff in the recently released Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen from Wizards of the Coast. And I'm just here to generally make Eric's life miserable, which is par for the course whether we're on screen or not. But, you know, you all get to enjoy the chaos.
It is fun.
I did this to myself. It's true. Like, this is all entirely self-inflicted. Okay, so...
Yeah.
When last we left off, the peaceful town of Maritas was utterly destroyed by a horrendous creature from the sea. You narrowly escaped with your lives, and now you are sailing off into freedom and safety, maybe, aboard a strange ship with strange people. We are picking up pretty much right where we left off. Although I mean, at least you don't have a monster currently trying to kill you.
I mean, that's, you know, kind of the ideal, I think.
So, you all made it onto the ship. Zeph, your erstwhile fast-talking companion, went into the water a little bit, the extremely cold waters of the sea, and is currently just shivering and unable to contribute for the moment. His mind is far away, as is his player. So you find yourself surrounded by a number of sailors who are working on the rigging, operating the sails, freeing everything up to get as much speed as possible away from Meritas. The ship also has a number of civilians, people from the city who are clearly not sailors. You can tell immediately because several of them are spending most of their time at the rail, leaning over it and such. On that point, I'm going to need each of you who is not a sailor or has proficiency in water vehicles, okay, to make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
I don't get any special dispensation for being weird and supernatural.
Not in this case.
Ah, man. Okay.
I mean, so are we all.
Are you a seabird? I thought not.
Oh my. I rolled a nat 1.
Excellent.
You want to be in the air, clearly. All right, I got a 10.
Clearly.
Okay.
19 for me.
Yeah, Ansari, you're fine. Danos, this is actually kind of soothing for you. Lucretia, oh man. So, the influence of the devil inside you does not like the land at all, right? You are constantly wanting to fly, to break free of the earth, to stretch your wings of great power and vengeance. And so when that land is swaying back and forth and unstable, and it's even worse than just solid land. So you can tell me exactly how this affects you. Generally speaking, it's not going to be pleasant.
Oh no, not remotely. I feel like there's, at least for a bit, a good show of her trying to remain as stoic and her usual like grim self as possible. And then I think at a certain point, like she's standing there, she looks like she's just completely stone-faced, and then someone asks her a question, maybe one of the crew or something, and instead of responding, her face just kind of screws up in this like expression, this grimace of discomfort and pain, and then she just rushes to the railings. It's heaving over the side.
Yeah. All right. Yes, the crew are startled by your sudden outburst of violent nausea.
Taking all of her will not to do that, and then getting asked the question just broke everything.
Yep. So, amongst the people on the ship, you have sort of blended in somewhat, because, there are just various other people from Meritas. Unfortunately, some of you are very unique-looking people. For instance, the strange bird devil woman peeking up over the rail at the moment, and Ansari, who used her magic to manipulate the elements, as it were. Danos, you're kind of used to just hanging around a lot of people, so you can pretty much blend in. But those two attract a great deal of attention. Perhaps it is for the best that Bird Lady decided to empty herself over the rail, because she is attracting the most of the attention.
Yeah, I think at this point she has like sunk down and is just doing that thing where she's like curled up slightly beside the rail, gripping it in a death grip. It's kind of like her wings just hanging limp.
So it's the magic that gets Ansari attention?
Well, some people saw some interesting things happening, and speculate that maybe, clearly it was you. Ansari is a kind of distinctive looking person, and they saw some strange things happening, and I don't recall, had you been trying to hide your elven heritage or not?
So her hair was around her ears until she took a bath,
Right,
basically
okay.
there. So I'm imagining the straggly wet hair is still back in kind of a braid, but
Okay.
it's
So
not
yeah,
covering very well.
you're standing there trying to dry off, which you could do pretty easily with magic, but you're not. I don't know. Do you want to use your magic to dry yourself off, or?
I mean, so to Ansari's mind, like, she hardly used, like, much of magic. I mean, the spells she's seen, the Eladrin that she used to run with did, like, crazy magic. So, yeah, she'll do, like, the cantrip gust to sort of, like, it'll be cold, but she'll
Blow dry
sort of, like,
yourself.
blow dry.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, as you're doing that, there are a few people who look over at you, including a small child who looks up at you with like these big wonder-filled eyes.
I'll gust them.
Kid hides behind the parents' legs, and the parent, when they look over at you, their gaze becomes suspicious, and they kind of move away from you.
Oh.
All right. So Lucretia, you have managed to empty yourself out over the rail, and you feel something sharp at your chest. A blade has presented itself just under your chin. Yeah, the blade kind of like taps on your chin there.
Slowly look up, and she's glaring, and if it's possible for a woman whose skin is the color of no color at all to look paler, she does, but she is glaring,
almost
at whoever this
translucent.
is.
Yes.
Yeah, she's not doing great, but she is glaring.
It is indeed the captain, who you saw briefly, and argued a bit with her to let you onto the ship and wait for your companions. And she looks down at you. She's got this big, wild tangle of red hair, and she's like, "And what exactly are you?"
That is a complex question. She just kind of like grunts that out as she kind of grips the rail a bit tighter.
So next to the cab, a very large, kind of square-shaped person with a big beard carved into 5 different strands comes over next to the captain. He's shorter than she is, although bigger, at least twice as heavy as she is. He is a dwarf, and he says to her, "Captain Saris, we're underway. It doesn't seem like that thing is following us." And she looks over, she nods. She takes her sword away and sheathes it. And she says, "Well, I'm a complicated woman. Tell me your story."
She kind of like, she starts to talk, just...
Oh.
If I must...
Compose yourself. Then come and find me in my quarters. They're right next to your quarters. Well, the room where we are setting you up. The old man insisted.
Very well.
And then she heads off barking orders. All right. Danos. So, there are probably about 15 or 16 people from the city here on the ship. They're obviously not sailors. Maybe they've been on a boat or two, but they look like city folk, definitely. They're carrying sacks, some of them with just a few belongings. Some of them just only have their clothes. They look miserable and scared. And one of them comes over to you as you're there on the ship. Excuse me, are you a chemic, an alchemist?
Not exactly, but I have some skills. What can I help you with?
Oh, just some of us are a little, bumps and bruises, and maybe you have medical abilities.
Some limited, but let's see who's worst off and what we can do for them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So there are a number of civilians. Wounds are minor. There are a couple of people who are unconscious, or one person is lying there with a clearly broken leg, and he's being very loud about it. Which is causing a little distress among the other people who are kind of like, God.
Actually, if this person's being fairly loud, I think that might catch Lucretia's notice, but I'll wait a bit.
Okay. Yeah, the thing with the captain is unfolding. Okay, Danos.
All right, so this one here, he's the worst off?
Looks like it. Not again. Oh, it's the same leg. It breaks the same way every time.
Every time?
This is the third time.
Maybe you ought to get into another line of work, friend.
There are always new lines of work. The first time I fell off a roof. The second time a wagon hit me, and the third time giant monster from the sea. How do you suggest I avoid this in the future?
Well, we could leave it the way that it is. It won't break again.
Oh!
All right, maybe that's not an option. I don't have any actual skills in medicine, or with medical kits, but I do have the Cure Wounds spell.
Excellent.
So I'm gonna take my hands, and it's his femur that's broken.
It is, yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna try and put them as close, the two loose ends as close as I can to one another, by shifting his thigh, cast a spell, and hope it heals him enough that he's not screaming in my face anymore.
All right, make me a wisdom check just to determine if you can
Just straight wisdom check.
Yeah, if you had medicine, it would be involved, but you could do intelligence if you prefer.
Yeah, I think intelligence. So
okay,
I know how the bones work. Oh, not bad. 21.
Okay, yeah, you successfully straighten out his leg. He goes but you got it in place.
Okay. Is he bleeding? Is he fairly stable, or should we wrap him up?
The only bleeding is the number of curses from his mouth.
Okay.
Which is substantial and would get us demonetized definitely immediately.
Okay. I'm gonna look around and see if there's any blankets or rags or something that we can kind of tie his leg up.
Yes. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff on the ship.
Okay. So friend, you're gonna stay off this leg. We don't have any miracles for you here, but the best we can do is hope that the bones knit. When you're fed, eat. When you're given drink. Rest and stop screaming.
Okay. Oh, thank you, friend. I appreciate it. Oh, even if I don't sound like it.
You're very welcome. And I'm gonna
He's
Do we have any extra rags
mouth.
I can jam in his mouth so he can...
Yeah, you could do that.
Here, bite on this for a little while.
A nearby villager, townsfolk person says, "Is that part of the treatment?"
For all of you, yes.
Oh, there's a little chuckle. You kind of think that they haven't really had much of a moment of levity. All right, Lucretia shows up. The screaming guy has stopped screaming. He's now going.
She'll tilt her head a little bit, do that kind of bird-like head tilt, and then she'll look at Danos. What is the problem with him?
His leg was broken clean through. I set the bone, but he's going to be hurting for a while.
She'll just kind of sigh, she's still a little wobbly. She's probably leaning on something, but she's like, "Give me a moment." And she'll rest a hand on the leg. And can I use lay on hands to heal it?
Sure you can. As soon as the guy saw you, he just like, halt!
All right. How many because I know that has charges, doesn't it?
It's a number of hit points healed.
Yeah, how many
You
does
have a
he
hit
need?
point pool. It 5 will do it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll use 5 of that. There's
Okay.
that kind of like glow of light from her hands as it heals the leg.
Okay.
Should be fine now.
Oh. He goes, oh, and just kind of passes out.
And she just looks a little bewildered, like
Overwhelmed.
Since he's sleeping, I'm gonna pluck the rag out of his mouth. I think it's overkill now.
gonna slump a little bit against whatever she's leaning against, just like, I hate this place.
It's better to stay below decks. The less you can see the horizon, the better your stomach will settle, or so I'm told.
I suppose it's worth a shot. The captain apparently wishes to speak with me, so perhaps I should.
All
Heads.
of you, I should think. You realize that the tall old man is standing near you, leaning on his staff. He has this habit of just kind of appearing.
Well, all of us, then, if you are prepared.
Yes, I would speak with you as well. Let us go to meet the captain together. Did I introduce myself? I do not recall. I
do
am
not believe
Alecris. Some call me the magician. You look like you have not heard of me. Very well. Not all of us know everyone in the world.
Would I know him from my Arcana training?
Yeah, that's a there are stories told about this particular character by this particular name. A traveling magician of some kind, who some stories would call him the representation of the magician Arcana.
All right. Cool.
And he says, I see in you something special, but we shall speak of that anon. First, see that the captain does not throw you overboard, I would suggest. And when you are done, return to the guest quarters and we shall speak. And then
Of course.
he hobbles away. So there are 2 staterooms, essentially. One which is the captain's quarters, and another which is a set of guest quarters, which is where the captain seems to have set up the old man.
All right. So noted with the guest quarters, at least.
Yep. You see she's out there giving orders and commands to people. She shouts at the townsfolk a little bit like, get out of the way, out of the way! You're getting underfoot. Don't make me put you all down in the hold. You're lucky that we got you out of there alive. And she sees you watching. She says, what? Right. Are you all assembled?
Yeah, I think Lucretia would have at least gone looking for Ansari to get everyone gathered as quickly as she might have with how much she's kind of been hobbling around.
Okay, Ansari, the city folk have mostly been avoiding you.
That's okay. She's gonna go to the rail and I don't know that she would do full Titanic movie on the prow, but she's definitely sort of doing a little bit of scrambling maybe out onto the figurehead a little bit to sort of be in the wind stream. And clearly she's either very young or kind of used to being in danger, or probably both, because she seems to have perked up quite a bit, and she's just like, "Hey, this is cool. I'm climbing around. I've seen some new stuff. Never been on a boat this big before. This is awesome." But she will come if Lucretia sort of like is like, you gotta come.
Yeah, the captain wishes to speak with us. She's
Yeah.
just kind of very like, this is not the like grim, composed individual that you saw in town. She is very just like, she is holding on for dear life.
and Sari, like, she's like, "Oh, Pat, wait, no, do I touch? I don't know if I touch." Pat on your like shoulder.
Yeah, she won't react to that. She'll just be like,
Oh, okay.
Before we go in, and Danos pulls out a head-sized cloth bag and says, "When you sleep later, this might help you. I find I get some of my best rest with a sack over my head."
no thank you.
So you assemble and go chat with the captain.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, you go back to the quarters and you find the dwarf there by the door with his arms crossed. And he goes, He opens the door for you.
She's kind of no, she does that actually. She just kind of goes and kind of grunts back with a nod and walks.
The dwarf looks at Danos.
Mm.
The dwarf looks at Ansari. He does not wave back. All right, you want to head inside there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a pretty small room, sparsely furnished. There is I want to say it's a round table, but there's a gouge out of it, so it's like a 90% of a pie table, with several chairs of different design around it. Obviously, taken from multiple places. The whole place has a feel of being cobbled together. There's a dresser, a fairly large, nice-looking bed kind of stuck in the corner. Large by the standards of what you might expect to find on a ship. Like, you could fit 2 people in that bed. Amazing. And there is a window that is out the back, the aft of the ship, and it is ringed in gold lace, except that you can see that it's chipped away and it's just painted wood. But this place is relatively comfortable, a little bit overly posh, as it were, for just a common sailor. All right, the door creaks behind you, and you hear, finally. I'm glad we can't... Oh, yes. So you see the captain has arrived. She kind of like slicks some of her hair back a little bit because it's gotten all wild in the spray. Like I said, she's a human woman, probably somewhere in her late 20s, early 30s. She has red hair with a couple of gray streaks in it. And she's dressed in very colorful, sort of flowy clothes that you might expect more from a bard than a pirate captain or a sailor or a professional of any kind. And she says, well, to business. She goes over and sits not at the table, but on the bench in front of the window, where she puts one of her booted feet on the table. It kind of leans against the side.
All right.
Who are you? Wait, where are my manners? Drinks. She grabs a bottle, a half full bottle of kind of golden brown liquid, and pours several glasses. The glasses are of different kinds too. They are actually glass though. And she kind of shoves those across the table in your direction. 3 little glasses.
I am not certain this is wise.
You're right. I wouldn't want to waste good rum on that. Send it overboard.
Danos is going to pluck Lucretia's glass from her.
She'll just kind of like, yeah, no problem with that.
All right, the captain sits back down in a totally different manner than before, with like both legs crossed, one on top of the other. Who are you?
Just kind of, Lucretia will look at her companions.
Well, I am Danos. Thank you for your hospitality, by the way. I'm gonna drink the first glass of rum quickly.
It is very strong and pretty decent.
Raise the glass in appreciation. Put it on the table. I'm an artificer and artillerist of no renown. Happened to be in the city when this atrocity occurred, and appreciate you taking on these people and us as well.
A man of good manners. Welcome. Be welcome in this place, Danos the artillerist. If you don't mind, I'd love to have you take a look at our ballistae. One of them is not working super well these days. We were in port to do some repairs, in fact. But lest I get distracted, she looks at the other two.
At this point, Lucretia will kind of take a breath, draw herself back a little bit, and then she'll kind of dip into a very formalized bow. I am Lucretia von Ryer.
A noble.
Yes.
I had heard interesting things about nobles and the entities that they consort with. I never expected that they were true, though.
I'm unusual.
Welcome, my lady. She bows from where she is sitting against the window. Never been on a ship before, eh?
Not in a very long time.
Well,
Just kind of. But that poise that she'd had for a brief moment just kind of sags.
there should be a bucket in the corner if you've need, my lady.
A very armored thumbs up.
And you.
I'm Ansari. My friend is friends with them or knows them. I don't know them super well, but we were in the city together. So, but Zeph was saying, because I need to get home, and Zeph was saying that maybe a ship would take me there, and I could help out with my magic a little bit.
And where is it that one of the old ones calls home?
Old ones? I mean, I'm not that old.
I've never met one of your folk before.
Oh, elves. Oh, well, yeah. So I need to get back to where the elves are, because I guess so I was somewhere else and I didn't realize how far I traveled, and so apparently it was really far. So I need to get back to the elven homeland. Let's see.
I see. Well, be welcome in this place.
Thank you.
I appreciate your offer of assistance. I appreciate all of your assistance. This is a ship after all, and you either pay or you work your way. Otherwise, well, we only have so much food to go around. And I am Captain Ceres. Good to make your acquaintance. And this is the Far Traveler. We are a privateer in the employ of the Light Kingdom, the bright realm of Alusha. So, those of you who are kind of local to this world, so Ansari doesn't know this, Alusha is indeed a realm of mostly humans with an empress and an elected council. The empress is not really the ruler of the realm, but takes charge of the military and such thing. Is basically the defender of the realm. The council does most of the decision making. Alusha tends to have the reputation of being a pretty good kingdom, realm, as it were. And their flag, which you saw flying on the mast, is a white star on a red field.
All right.
If the captain is claiming to be a privateer in the employ of the bright realm Alusha, then, well, she's probably not going to throw you over the side immediately. That's about as much as you know about that kingdom. If you want to try and recall additional stuff or additional information, we can go over that when it comes up. Anyway, Captain Sari says, so what brought you to Maritas? You must have had some business in the city, yes? You sell swords? Mercenaries? Exotic bird watchers?
She'll get a look for that one.
Captain grins.
I was after someone.
Vengeance, is it? Ah. You dug
Generally speaking, yes.
How many graves you dig before you started?
I don't tend to dig any.
Burn the bodies. Wise. Or feed them to barnyard animals, pigs especially. Here on the sea, we tend to just throw bodies overboard, and well, hopefully we won't be having to do any of that. Do we understand each other?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What's the story with the old man?
I think Lucretia will look at the other two at that.
Well, he was fighting the monster, and so we couldn't just leave him.
The old man was fighting the monster.
He had magic.
Magic. Okay.
Yes.
What, he waved his stick and fire came out? As you recall, that is exactly what he did.
Yes.
Not quite in that swirling motion, but yes, fire erupted.
Well, perhaps the journey has addled your brains a bit, or the rum was a bit too strong. But we don't truck with superstition in these here parts. Tend to rely upon science and alchemics, such as my man Danos there can tell you all about.
Indeed, I can assist with those things to an extent. I'm no master, but I can be of service.
Suppose it would have been too much to ask for the wheel to give us a master. Well, a journeyman will do.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I'm trying to get to the
Where the
Elven-
elves are, yeah, right.
and so do you go somewhere where I could get another ship that goes there, or what? How close do you get?
She swings her legs down from the table, and she just shoves everything off the table, grabbing the bottle of rum so that it doesn't crash onto the floor. But like books and papers just all over. And you see that the top of the table is a map of a huge ocean with a number of land masses. And she pulls out a dagger and she just boom, thumps it into the table.
Always with the
says,
stabbing of maps.
well, the map is old and drawn on the table, right? Painted on and chipped and, in places. And it says, here's where we are. And here, she pulls out another dagger. Is where we left, Maritas. Oh, wise representative of the old ones, could you point to me on the map where you want to be going?
So, I mean, Ansari will take a good long look. And
Okay.
does anything look like maybe she learned like as a child?
This map is terrible. Like
Okay.
you're looking at it and like the continents aren't even in the right place. Like it looks like things are broken up and like there's like all this water between places. Like the world that you knew was a jigsaw puzzle and it's just like someone scattered it. You do, the more you stare at it, go ahead and make me an intelligence check, please.
Okay.
The more you stare at it, the more you start to recognize things.
15.
Okay. So you can see Siladas, or kind of the shape of that landmass, which is where you are from. It was a forest-covered continent with great mountains and 3 very distinctive tails that kind of came off into the water. It's not where you expected to find it, but you do recognize it.
Well, your map is strange, but I suppose everyone who draws maps sort of focuses more on their homeland. So I want to get here. So she'll point to the landmass that she thinks she kind of in the middle somewhere.
Captain looks at it, looks back up at you. What a clever one you are to point us toward the Infernal Empire.
Oh, that gets a look.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Yeah, that's what we'll do, Lassie. We'll just sail on up to where those goblins have their ports, and we'll fight our way through one of the ports, and we'll get you home. Just any one of these days now. Absolutely. She looks at you other two. You're also not laughing. You're serious?
Well, if my people were overrun, perhaps they might have retreated. Where do you know the elves to currently live?
You are serious. She's serious. She looks at Danos. She looks at Lucretia.
I don't know the girl for long, but she seems quite serious on this. Yes.
Likewise.
Well, I wish Zeph was feeling better, because he said that he could get me home. He knew where the elves lived.
Oh, sweet thing, the captain says, suddenly becoming a little bit more sympathetic. And she looks at you and she says, did you hit your head? Is that what happened? Because I've never met an elf in my entire life up until now. There are Where have you
But-
come from?
You know of them. Well, I was lost for a while. But so my family, you said there were goblins. They must have retreated to some place of safety. So I'll have to find them. So she's gonna look at Lucretia and Danos because Zeph isn't here. Like, come on, help me out. It's just the captain who doesn't know about elves, right?
Your kind are not as common among human folk as you might think. Most of us have never seen an elf before.
You're wandering folk. You travel. The few of you who are still around travel the world, mostly the subject of myth and legend, stories.
Yes, I have not met any myself. Although, notably, says Lucretia, the horned winged lady with pointed ears. You would be the first.
But Zeph said I take a ship to go home. She's suddenly looking like very young. Like all of you, I'm sure, like have trouble telling like elf ages because you've never seen one before. But like going from seeming like probably she's just like in her 30s as a human to being like, wait, is she like 15?
Okay, the captain just slides the rest of the rum toward you. Just slides the bottle across toward you.
She'll be polite and like refill her glass.
Oh,
She's not
no.
gonna drink right from the bottle.
Take it.
Let's wait until Zeph regains his wits and perhaps some of his sense, and determine how much of his bluster was truth and how much was wind.
Yes, well, he does not seem like the sort that I would personally take issue with. He also seems to be quick of tongue and, well, I perhaps would not necessarily say slow of sense, but I do wonder at the veracity of his claims.
Well, Captain slaps the table. I've decided. She sweeps around the table and goes down to one knee next to Ansari. My lady, I did not mean to offend you. So, this is what I will do. You shall sleep here in my quarters. Not with me, unless you want to. Not with me, in my quarters. They shall be yours until we find a suitable place for you. How is that?
Thank you.
And please drink as much of the rum as you like. I shall bunk with the lads and lasses and others.
And Zeph and my friends, they should.
Just
We
pass
have
them however you
accommodation.
wish. I shall consider you the spokesman of this group.
Oh.
I have decided. Since it's no longer my chamber, I shall take my leave. And she backs out toward the door. And she says, I have work to do. There is work to be done. Keep us afloat, keep us living, keep us breathing. So you just handle your feelings on your own. Bye. Closes the door.
And here I thought she wanted our story. She just kind of like sits in one of the chairs and sinks a bit.
Lucretia, you should have the bed. I'm okay. I don't understand why people think I'm important. I'm not that important. My family is, just one of the many elven families. I
Yes,
haven't
but
seen them for a while.
in tales, elves are often treated as mythical and wondrous beings. I think that results in others believing, well, feeling that either they should be afraid of you or in awe of you, which affords some degree of respect.
She keeps like looking like, is she still like herself? Yes.
I would not take it personally. People
What?
often have limited capacity for what they don't understand. It's something you grow accustomed to.
She didn't believe that the old man had magic, so maybe he knows something about elves.
He may. If that
I think
is
it's
something
best-
you would...
I think it's best we speak to the old man before the old man decides to take his leave.
Where's he
Yes.
gonna go? He's on a boat.
He could fly, if you recall.
That's true.
Something tells me not having a means of transport would be no barrier to him.
Well, she'll slowly start to kind of like ease herself up back out of the chair. I suppose we should go do this.
Maybe I should bring the old man here.
Or I could go get him.
She'll very slowly ease herself back into the chair. That sounds like a
I
good
don't mind.
idea.
And Sari's just gonna like run off, like she's used to running errands. Again, makes it seem a little bit kind of young. She's automatically like, oh well, obviously I go run and get somebody. That's what I do. So she'll go out and start looking around for the old man.
Okay. Yeah, he is very easy to find. When you go out onto the deck, he's just waiting there for you, and he says, "You have come. Are you ready to speak?"
Yeah, I had some questions, and also my friends, but I had
Of
some
course.
questions. Do you want to come? And the captain said we could use her quarters. It was weird.
Yes. She is terribly afraid of difficult things. Her confidence is superficial. Within you, I sense something deeper. Lead me to your friends.
Okay.
All right, so the old
lead him
man
back.
goes in with you.
Mhm. While that was happening, I think Lucretia would have started removing her armor, perhaps in the hopes of that, like, the less bulk and weight will at least help. She's trying anything at this point.
Sure. Yeah, you do feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah. I feel like without the armor on, she probably is surprisingly, I wouldn't call her slight, but she is definitely not a bulky person. Like, she's tall and probably more leanly athletic than anything, but very, very simple, kind of practical, under armor type stuff. Regular, like, her clothing is probably was fine at one point. It's not ill taken care of, but it's definitely I believe the only set of clothes she has. So
Well-worn padding.
mm-hmm. So she's kind of slumped back in the chair.
You're slowly adjusting. Yep. The old man appears. Oh,
While Ed Sari's out getting the old man, Danos is going to take a minute. I'm going to be examining those 2 daggers that the captain threw into the...
You should just stab them into the table. Yeah.
Yeah, just are they just to see if they're of any particular quality, not to nab them, but to comment on them later.
They're decent. not like masterwork quality, but slightly above the rest, slightly above average. They are of different make, though. One of them is slightly curved and has a guard that is kind of pointed upward, and the other is more of your cruciform guard and a straight dagger.
Cool.
Okay. All right. So the old man arrives. At last. Hello. I am the magician. And you are touched by destiny.
Wait,
Are
I
you
don't.
well?
That was not the reaction I was expecting. But I shall try and explain. He goes in and sits in one of the chairs. I am old, but well enough. I sense that you are... Let me back up. I am Alecrus, the magician. I wander from place to place, seeking signs of the coming judgment. And I have seen a mighty sign. The beast of judgment has arisen from the sea and is wreaking its wrath upon the land. In such times, champions must arise, those who have been chosen by the spirits. I believe you are those champions.
Oh, well, she clearly is, but they're probably, but I trying to get home. I got lost. So, do you know where the elves are?
I do.
Well, can you help me explain to the captain?
It is not so simple, my child.
Oh.
The path of destiny is not one that can be forsaken or avoided. For that is what destiny is. It is simply what will happen, not what must happen or can be predicted to happen, but what will happen.
But not me. I'm not one of the people with the destiny.
You are. I have seen the wanderer, the traveler, the fool reflected in each of you. You have been chosen for this path. You will not believe me, I am sure, but you will find that this path does lie before you.
I have been chosen, yes. But what I have been chosen for is to seek justice for those who have been denied it.
Champion of justice, of course. Your destiny is greater than this, however. Your steps lie farther down the path. You must walk the first part of the path to reach them. You, child of moonlight, your path is far, far down the way, but you must take the intervening steps to find it. For as surely as the moon follows the star, so shall the sun follow the moon, and all shall be revealed in time. He looks at Danos. Your destiny awaits as well.
What
Oh.
is mine? What am I? What is expected of me? I'm just a tinkerer.
I think there is little that is just about you, but you might not see it as yet. The path always starts among the meager and the uncertain. Those who think that there is no journey at all find themselves irrevocably bound to it. Your destiny is not easily foreseen, but it does await you. She, points at Enzeri, wishes to find her way home. She, points at Lucretia, wishes to find justice. You, points at Danos, you seek something to seek, I think. Your friend, he seeks death.
What?
All these things you shall find. But will you continue after them? That remains to be seen. The first step upon your journey is to find the power of the magician.
But you're the magician, so
I am but a magician.
oh,
So the spirit, then.
Yes.
Where shall we seek this out?
I shall test you. And should you pass this test, I shall bequeath to you this power.
okay.
And what exactly will your test entail, magician?
You must find your own path. But it shall involve defeating me. I shall speak with the captain. We shall make preparations. Surely there are other seekers who are following this path, but I believe you four have the greatest potential to find the correct way.
You seem tired,
I
friend.
have spent a long time on the road and I would rest.
Can I escort you to your chambers?
If you would be so kind.
Get up and walk him to the door.
Okay.
As we travel, I'm gonna ask the magician. Why is it that it must be destiny? Why can't it be choice?
They are the same.
So I don't have a lot of time to talk. His room is right next door. So
That's true. All right. Choice is an illusion.
I'll bear that in
All-
mind.
All is as it will be. Not as it must, not as you wish, but as it will be. I am sorry. Remember that. And then he slowly closes the door.
Well, that wasn't ominous at all. I'm going to rejoin Lucretia and Zeri.
Well, that was certainly something, wasn't it?
It was.
So to get home, I have to do his little test and follow his orders, basically. I mean, it's kind of like the last place I was. There was a hunting party, and they were always trying to make me prove myself. You know, that they weren't going to leave me behind. So, but you don't have to. You folks don't have to do that. I can. I'll try.
No. Leaving you to this alone, what would that make of the rest of us?
Well, I'm not anybody special. We just met. I mean,
Apparently, we're all special, whether we like it or not. And I don't know so much that the magician is setting a task out before us, but telling us what he understands to be the map for you to get home.
Oh. But he said we have to defeat him. So I'm a little worried though, because you know, the hunting party, it was one of those sort of like, it's like, defeat me, but if you don't, then they kill you, but you can't really defeat them, so you have to like sort of fight them to a standstill, and that's really hard, and I kind of don't want to be killed. So
I did not
Is
get the
it-
sense that if we fail, our lives are forfeit.
well, that's good.
But I'm still not entirely sure what to make of this situation. The task I set out with personally was clear. And yet, I find myself loath to leave one such as yourself to the auspices of destiny, all on your own.
That's I just want to
Something-
get home.
Something tells me that the magician believes that all of our fates will cross our road eventually. Your vengeance and your journey home, I think they're tied up in what he has intended for us, or predicted for us, or however he would phrase it.
That does rely on the belief that the strands of fate are so interwoven that they cannot be pried apart. I'm not certain I ascribe to that belief.
Well, when you feel better, you could fly off and find
We're in
your justice.
We're in the middle of the ocean. By the time I feel better enough to fly, I don't think I will be able to fly to shore, at least in time enough to survive the trip. I can only fly so far. I'm not a seabird, put it that way.
Then
And so he's
perhaps
gonna-
our best bet is to rest. Get Zeph back on his feet. Hope he doesn't need time finding his sea legs. And work with the captain to get to the next port where we need to be, instead of where she decides we ought to be.
And we have to fight the magician though. But after we
don't-
rest.
I don't think that. I think he intended on us overcoming some challenge down the road.
Yes,
Not a
did
battle in front of the sailors here.
Yes,
Oh.
I don't think it's immediate.
Oh. You're sure?
That's our-
Because I thought he meant I should go and that's how it works. They challenge you, and then you prove yourself worthy to not be left to die.
Humans, you'll find, in particular humans that dabble in magic, have a way of speaking
in riddles.
well beyond the literal meaning of the words they use.
Okay.
This one, if he is as powerful as he seems, we're lucky we understand him at all.
Oh. I don't want him to be mad, because if you shirk the challenge, then you failed it.
From what he says, we cannot avoid the challenge. It'll be placed before us no matter what we do.
It's... Yes, if he is correct about the paths that we walk, the immutable nature of destiny, then whatever this challenge will be, we will face it when the time comes to face it, whether we know we're facing it or not.
No.
That is
So-
somewhat the nature of things.
So there's a knock on the door.
Oh, and Syria will go open it.
Okay. It is Captain Sarius again. And she says, so, it seems that your old friend has given us a course heading. And, well, I don't like taking orders from strange old men with sticks on my ship. That seems to be the direction the wind is pushing us. Do you have anything to say about that? Do you know something I don't know?
He said it's destiny. He's weird.
Well, spend enough time in the world and you do become a little weird.
Tell me about it.
So, if he's right, we'll arrive there in a matter of days. Hopefully, it'll be someplace with resources to replenish our stores. Until then, yes, I would appreciate your assistance on the ship. Otherwise, have some rest, and we'll start afresh in the morn, shall we?
Captain, would you show me this ballista that needed some attention?
Right, of course. Perfect. Come with me. Come with me, my friend.
Did you... All right.
All right, yeah. Okay, so the Far Wanderer is a square-masted caravel. It's armed with a number of cannon on each side, 4 cannon on each side, for a total of 8, with 2 rotating ballistae on the aft raised deck, just kind of right above where your staterooms are. The captain leads you up those steps. And you can see that the ballista, you are an artillerist, so you know a lot about Magitech weaponry. And you know that these ballista are somewhat in disrepair. Like, they have not been properly maintained. They have not been looked at by a qualified professional in some time. So here they are. One of them tends to fire, and one of them, well, she's shall we say, temperamental.
How inventive have your crew been in finding alternative ammunition when you run out of bolts?
Well, you see here, she points to the Magitech battery on one of them. She kicks it. That's generally the solution that we have.
That's going to need some that bit's going to need perhaps some more attention once we reach port. But the other one, let me have a look at the bow and the cabling and see what we can do to make do, at least until we limp into port.
Much obliged. Much obliged. So as you start looking at it, she drapes herself over the mounting chair on the ballista. So, traveling with two very, very strange women, I see.
Indeed.
How did that come about, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, believe it or not, I spend a lot of my time, far more than I would like, getting waylaid with sacks thrown over my head and knocked unconscious, and then waking up in strange cities. This is the third or fourth time it's happened. And the tall one with the wings, every time it happens, she seems to be there when I wake up.
Little sweet on you, is she?
Honestly, I don't think it has anything to do with it. I think that there's something else at play.
Destiny?
Oh, I hope not.
I see. So, what of the other one, the elf?
Well, the Zeph, the one that's still shivering up on deck. It seems like he's promised to get her home, and he and I have wound up in similar spots in the past. He was in a dungeon cell near mine once. Apparently I have a habit of crossing and recrossing paths with folk. Really all I want to do is just sit down and rest for a little bit. But until this is
And yet here we are. You're repairing me ballista when I told you to rest.
sleep in a few hours. I want to be of some use, and I want to make sure that if this earns me a little bit of extra consideration, I can pass that along to the folk that can't contribute as well on the ship.
What manner of consideration you be thinking of?
Only that folk be fed and not chased off the ship. I'm not for seeing people starve or half rationed. I understand we have to get to port and people, you need to keep your stores. But you've got old folk here, you've got children, they may not be able to do as much to help.
Would you make me a persuasion check, please?
Ooh, not good. 8.
It's getting dark enough in my room that, like, it's making it look weird with the background. Anyway, I'll fix it at the break. Okay. She says, well, I guess we'll see. I don't like seeing people starve either. I'll get us all to port. None of us will die as don't deserve it. How's that?
Sounds fair. While this conversation is going on, by the way, Danos is using the mending spell on the biggest visible piece of damage he can find on the ballista.
Oh yeah, there are frayed wires and just the energy cabling is all wrong. And yeah, using judicious use of mending, and I'm going to have you make a tools check. Will be sufficient to do some repair work.
All right. So, should I make the check now, or you want me to wait till?
Go ahead and do it now.
All right. So, oh no. Even with my proficiency bonus, because I rolled a natural 1, it's a 6.
Okay. Yeah. So you're putting some wires back together, and you're, resetting it, and it seems okay.
So, this is the best I can do for now. No promises. But you may have. Do you have a gunner?
Tragically, our gunner is who man the ballista are two twins. They like their shooting almost as much as they like their drinking. And we had to leave them behind in Meritas. So,
what time of day-
unrelated. I don't suppose you have any artillery interest in operating such a large weapon.
Not in the long term, no. Thank you. I can test fire it for you now, but I don't know if you want to attract the attention.
She shouts up, and a face pops over the edge of the crow's nest, and she says, "Any ships on the horizon?" And the guy in the crow's nest makes a gesture, and she looks back. She says, "You see a suitable target, you fire away."
Is there any flotsam in the water we can shoot at? Should I make a perception check, see what I see?
Yeah.
$11.
Okay. Yeah, you see like a big like kind of a hump of something, like maybe a rock that has poked up over the surface of the water, or maybe something floating. It's unclear. It's getting dark, right? It's slightly after the sun is set, so it's kind of, but you do see a definite shape that is not water.
Okay. I'm afraid that might be alive. And so, unless with the captain's permission, I'm gonna leave that alone.
Okay. Cool. Says, no suitable targets, eh?
No, I'd rather find something that isn't going to fight back.
Good. Well chosen. Well chosen. You go and get yourself some rest. You seem tired.
And that I will do.
All right. So, I think that's a good time for us to take our break. We'll be back in a few minutes with the next day on the ship. So,
okay.
unless there's something else we need to take care of.
I'd wanted to talk to the captain myself, but if we want to move to the next day, that's cool. So,
all right, we can have you chat with the captain, or maybe you didn't find her. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay,
we'll figure it out.
Come back in a few minutes. We'll see you then. Don't go away.
Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey. It's a brand new day. On the South Coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey. Heroes on their way. Riding together against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get your wand and
And we're back suitably in a tropical frame of mind as the boat is sailing on the ocean. You're on the Far Traveler, and night has fallen, and most of you have gone to rest, except for Lucretia, who I believe has some certain midnight business that she would like to take care of. So let's do that, and then we'll get to the dawning of the next day, assuming you don't trip that ballista and blow up the ship. So, Lucretia.
Yes. All right. So Lucretia, I believe, when she's reasonably feeling like she can move decently, which hopefully happens at some point, does go look for the captain to speak to her.
So you're searching around the ship. It has 3 masts, the ship. One particularly tall and the other 2 slightly shorter. There's a hold which is where most of the crew sleeps in hammocks. People have started to bed down for the night. There are a couple of people still up on deck keeping things going, but you're looking around for the captain and you don't find her on the deck, and no one responds to your knocks on the other stateroom door. You don't find her by the ballistae, and you don't find her by the rudder wheel. And you're just looking all around. And finally, you fly up to the crow's nest where you might get a better view. And you find the captain lounging there in the crow's nest.
Ah,
Ah. I was wondering when you come to find me.
she'll kind of land where she can up there, and just kind of like, yes, I hope to talk.
What can I do you for?
Well, a couple of matters. Mainly, I'd hope to inquire about how I might be able to assist around the ship.
Ah.
She still seems kind of unsteady, like she's trying, but
You have a bird's face and a bird's wings. Do you have a bird's eyes as well?
my perception can be keen. Well, to some extent, I can see well in the dark better than most.
I see. Well, knowledge about our surroundings is always useful on a ship. Knowledge about potential threats that might be awaiting us.
Yes. That night.
Also, you any good with that sword?
I have had quite a bit of practice, yes.
Huh. Well. Good. Then what I'd suggest is that you be a crow for the ship. You watch for things coming, and you take part in any fights if we should have some. There weren't many ships that escaped Maritas, but of those who did, I believe there are at least 2 from the Infernal Empire out in these here waters.
I did see one of them prior to landing on your ship.
We did glimpse one as we were fleeing the city. It was headed in a different direction, but chances are good that they glimpsed us as well. You never
Yes.
know with those goblins.
All things considered, I decided to risk alighting upon the Far Traveler instead of whatever awaited on theirs.
Risk, is it?
An unfamiliar
Puts her
ship.
hand up on the mast. And what else do you come to risk, eh?
What else did I come to risk? Quite a curious question.
I thought so. I'd be seeing the way you look at me. I don't know if that's just how your kind does, but I just want to reassure you. I'm good with the sword as well.
I see. Although now you have me curious. My kind?
You're touched by a devil, yes? I've
I'm
seen one
blessed.
like that before.
Have you now?
Did not end well for him. I trust that you will be of greater endurance and stamina. Eh?
I do not believe that my endurance and stamina are in question.
Good. Consider me reassured.
Of course, Captain.
Of course, Crow. Was there anything else?
Earlier, you did inquire about hearing our story, at least
Uh-huh.
my story.
Tell me.
I do not know much about theirs, truthfully, but I suppose in interest of payment for allowing us to remain.
Aye.
Well, is there like a place to like? Could you sit somewhere? How cramped is it up here? I don't know how this
Two
is
people.
arranged.
Two people can sit there pretty cozily.
Okay, she'll
So you
seat
just kind of
herself.
tell her the story.
Yeah, I'll tell her the story.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that you want to emphasize or leave out? I mean, you could just tell us the story if you want to. I just don't want to put you on the spot for taking up all the time if you don't want to. So
I can tell it. I don't want to eat up all our time if you want
Okay.
to move on to other stuff.
all right. What do you emphasize in your recounting of the story?
I mean, she'll be honest about it, honestly. The death of her friend, the miscarriage of justice, the accepting the mantle of vengeance placed upon her. Like, and she's certainly phrasing it in ways that are definitely favorable to her telling of the story.
I see.
It's her she's being honest from her perspective.
I see.
Because she doesn't see it as
Captain.
a demon.
Yeah. The captain listens. I see. So you made yourself a deal.
I accepted a charge offered to me, yes.
A pact. You get what you want. But what does the devil get? Do you even know?
What I serve is a spirit of justice.
Hmm.
Justice for those who have not been allowed to get to... She'll pause for a moment. For those that have been denied it. I carry out what others are unwilling to.
Well, then I wish you good fortune with that. And may it never turn against you. I toast, but I gave away all my rum.
It's quite all right.
You should mind your elven friend. I think she might be having... Well, I think I may have hurt her feelings a bit. I didn't mean to. I thought she was jesting, but it seems that she is serious, and there's darkness there. You should be careful. Eh?
I will keep that in mind.
Good. Also, don't touch that ballista. I think it's gonna explode.
I had no intention of doing so, but I will also remember that.
Just bear it in mind.
Fair. That's fair.
Okay. So, where are ye roosting? Eh?
I've made no particular plans.
Well, I just
There
so
is a-
happen to have this blanket here. Puts the blanket around herself.
All right. It is at least not as bad up here as it is down on the deck.
Wonderful. All right. So that passes interestingly. The following dawn, you are all awakened by the sound of shouts. The captain is up and giving people instructions. And you're all underway. So what do you do on the ship to aid in the sailing?
Lucretia will do pretty much what she was talking to the captain about. She will especially after dark, often she will perch herself since she does have at least limited dark vision and can see better at night than most other people probably can. Like she'll do her best. Her perception score is not a thing, but she will do what she can. It's yeah.
Okay.
She'll do that.
Okay. So I'm going to have you make a perception check. You can have advantage because you can fly, and so you have a much better vantage.
All right. Okay. 19.
19. Okay, good. Danos. Down on the deck. The captain has been pretty good at putting city folk to work. Having them mend sails, just repair clothing and other equipment, swab the decks, manual grunt labor. And they seem to be doing okay with it. There are still some injured folk, and you can kind of like watch over them and use healing spells judiciously as you need to. What do you want to do generally to aid the ship?
So I think Danos is going to split his time between making sure there's no one so injured that they need critical attention, and if that happens, he'll drop a healing spell to kind of keep them from getting so bad that he can't assist any further.
Okay.
But otherwise, he's going to try to see the people who are giving the civilians orders. If anything looks to be so damaged that it would like take somebody all day to fix, he's going to take that to the side and kind of use a mending spell to speed that up. So if it's a huge rip in a sail or a plank in the, I don't know how much damage the ship took in the escape.
A little bit.
Yeah. So judicious uses of mending spells will help kind of shorten some of those repair times.
Okay.
While still looking like it's not magic, because he's long since learned how to disguise his magitech as just kind of meddling and flesh.
Right. And to be clear, magitech and magic are not exactly the same thing. Magitech is indeed more of a science, chemistry based thing. It's the way magic and technology in this world works is if you had taken a much older world that had magic and then it evolved with magic becoming the basis of modern technology and science. In a sense, that's a very oversimplified generalization about how it works, but magitech is based on magical principles with a great deal of science applied to it. Very few true users of magic you will find in the world. Speaking of true users of magic, however, Ansari, what are you doing to expedite the ship's travel?
Probably a lot of party tricks, because the thing about her gust of wind is that, like, if she's like whoosh into the sails, like, she's only got a couple of those spells. And so she's not gonna, she might use the cantrip gust to like make some flags flap or something like that to make it seem like she has. I'm trying to think like how much like Ansari has it in her to sort of pretend like she's more of a mage than she is.
Well, if you know the Gust of Wind spell,
mhm.
You can use that to significantly alter the ship's course.
That's true.
Particularly if you use it early enough, it'll push the ship, and you might end up hundreds of leagues off of where you were originally going. So, if you told the captain that you could do this,
Mhm.
that you could harness the wind, she would indeed put you to work, at least test out to see what your power would do. Is that something you're interested in doing?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. She's all, so your elfy powers can master the winds, eh? Let's see. So
Elven.
Elven, right? Elven powers. I'm gonna turn this. It's a little bit hard that you see the wind is just pushing us this particular way. You can only go such and such a way when you're piloting a sail ship like this. So if we had some wind pushing us this way, and she just cranks it, and the ship kind of turns, and the sails move, and then kind of flatten back out. It says, "This be the Baron that we wish." Okay, so like this column of wind just out of Ansari's hands, and you're just standing there casually, just and it just fills the sail with this massive force of wind, and the ship just kind of lurches forward. The sailors are taken off guard. The city folk mostly fall over or like, ah! And yeah, the ship lurches on its way.
So I can only do that once more today.
Right,
So
but
you
you
know.
can, okay, cool. You can maintain the gust for a while though, right? What's
Can
the,
I? Let me look at the.
yeah, check out the duration of,
And that was what Ansari was telling the captain was. that
yeah, I got
only-
it.
Okay. Up to 1 minute.
1 minute of extremely propulsive gust is very helpful. The captain's like, "Whoa, whoa, this be amazing." I've been hoping to get enough coin for a wind propulsion magitech, but this. Are you looking for employment as a ship's mage? No, wait, that's too forward. That's too forward. I appreciate your help, and I appreciate you, and this is amazing. Lads, that way, go. And she just issues orders to the rest of the sailors. She seems very pleased by your powers. All right. So, Lucretia, at this point that Ansari has pushed the ship in a slightly different direction than you were expecting it to go, you look back and you've kind of flown off at an angle, expecting that the ship would, keep coming, and you're farther away from the ship, which is mildly irritating, but I mean, it's not a big deal. You just fly back. However, you see this unusual hump in the water. It's like, it looks a little bit like a stone that just surfaces for a moment and then sinks back down. With your 19 on perception, you can tell, however, that object was not all of a single piece. It appeared to be riveted together like metal pieces riveted together, is what I mean. Like a hull of something.
Okay. Lucretia will take note of that and basically immediately try flying back as quickly as she can toward the ship. Was it heading in the same direction as the ship?
If the ship had not veered off course, the ship would have crashed into it.
Oh. Okay.
But when it submerged again, it submerged in the direction of where the ship is going, like on a collision course with the ship.
All right, flying as quickly as possible. She will try to get there first.
Okay. So, Danos, you're going around helping people. When you see in the sky a bird. No, wait, that is definitely Lucretia flying toward you. Her wings are pounding. And and she's shouting something, or trying to signal. And Danos, you why don't you make me a perception check, please?
$22 with a natural 20.
Oh, amazing. Okay. Yeah, you happen to look over the bow, and you see that same object that you saw the previous night that you thought might have just been like some creature, like a whale maybe, or just another large animal of some kind. But in the harsh light of day, you can see that it is composed of riveted metal pieces. The kind of thing that you would expect to see in a shipyard.
Captain!
What is it, Danos? What is it?
We've got motion off the side.
What are you saying? And then crunch, the ship just crashes into this thing. I'm going to need everybody except for Lucretia, who is currently flying, to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Nine.
Yeah, so
21.
you fall over. And Sari, you lift off your feet a little bit, but just kind of set yourself back down with the wind. The captain staggers but catches herself on one of the masts. And she says, "Ambush! Ambush! Weapons!" And it is at that point that hobgoblins come pouring over the rail. So it's 8:30, and I don't necessarily want to get us all the way through this fight, but we're going to start this battle.
Okay.
And then we're going to resume next time. So
Just go ahead and mark that spell I just expended on my sheet.
well, you still have it active, so you
Oh,
could
okay.
redirect it if you want to.
Ah,
I'll just let you keep that in mind. Essentially, yeah, let's go with this one. Hobgoblins come pouring over the rail, wielding axes, swords, spears. They're dressed in leather armor, which has rivets, so you can tell that it's brigandine, like there's metal underneath that leather. It's the equivalent of studded leather armor in this world, anyway. And they look somewhat bestial. They have red and pink and gray skin, and well, they look like pirates. Lots of tattoos, colorful garb. Each of them is wearing a red and black flame banner, some of which are kind of old and tattered, streaking across them. And they're missing like chunks of their ears, and they have numerous scars and piercings. Hobgoblin pirates. So the sailors, who were not entirely caught by surprise because, there were some warnings, scramble to get their weapons. several of them fall immediately as the hobgoblins attack, but then they start mounting an attack back. So what I'm going to need from you three is to roll me initiative rolls. I
Yep.
probably should have said that before I started describing all the hobgoblins so that you could do it while I was talking, but here we are.
All right. We have minis on the board here for like an initiative tracker. or
Not
something.
really. I'm not
Really?
using.
All right.
Not. It's just a theater of the mind sort of battle.
Sounds good.
So
I got a 6.
Danos 6.
11 for Lucretia.
Okay. And Ansari.
10.
All right. Okay, so Captain Ceres is actually going to go first. And she shouts out to Ansari, who is the one who was closest to her. They got those where you come from? Take them down. Use your elven tricks. And she is going to give you a bardic inspiration.
Ew.
So you have a d6 that you can apply to a d20 roll or to a damage roll.
Ew. Cool.
And then it's going to be Lucretia's turn.
All right. Let me see. Well, first thing I'm gonna do is haha. All right. Am I near enough that I could engage with a hobgoblin really
You
quickly?
could swoop down and strike at one, yeah.
That's my plan. I'm going
Death from
to-
above.
Death from above. As I'm coming in as my bonus action, I'm going to tag the one I'm aiming at with Hunter's Mark.
Okay.
So gives me the extra d6 damage when I hit it with weapon attack. So that'll be nice. And then yeah, I will come in. I'll swoop in and attack with my longsword as I am
Okay.
coming in. So longsword, boom. Ooh, 23.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
Amazing.
So you cleave into one of the hobgoblins who is standing over a city folk with a spear.
Perfect. And then I will do. So the sword itself will do 11, and then another. Let's see here. Oh, another 6 damage from Hunter's Mark. So it does 17 damage to the hobgoblin.
Oof. All right, you kill that hobgoblin. So your
Perfect.
sword hacks into the hobgoblin, and with your momentum, you just drive through and just chop it raggedly in half.
Perfect.
Spear thunks down into the deck harmlessly next to the city folk.
Yeah, she just kind of drops down, cleaves through it, wings like, spread out. It's very dramatic.
Superhero landing and murder. Yes. All right, Lucretia just went, and Sari's turn.
So the Gust of Wind spell is still going, you're saying?
It is. You
Okay.
have exhausted half of its duration.
Okay. Well, in that case, she will turn it and then try to so that it's a line of wind 10 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
So she wants to get those 10 feet to sort of like get as many of the hobgoblins as she can, sort of, and they have to make a strength saving throw or be pushed 15 feet in the direction of the line. So basically, she's like whooshing them off the deck if she can.
Okay, so you sweep the wind over the deck, and you manage to strike 3 hobgoblins. What is the DC of your spell? I'm pretty sure they all fail, but
14.
yeah, okay. They were not expecting that. So the wind, it swoops in and it hits one, just knocks that hobgoblin flying off the rail, over the rail. Another one, it kind of slams him up against the rail and pushes him toward the bow. And then the third one that you strike, it knocks that one off the rail over the bow as well. Would you like, if you want to keep sweeping it around, you could strike another hobgoblin, but you will also strike Lucretia, who is standing right there.
Well, Lucretia's got wings, so she'll yell, "Fly above it!" and then.
Okay. All right, Lucretia, make a strength saving throw, please.
Not a very hard one.
Okay. So, the hobgoblin who was running up on Lucretia with an axe is suddenly flung backward, gets pushed 15 feet away. Lucretia, you also get pushed 15 feet, but because you have the wings, you could just fly upward as well. Is that what you would like to do? Okay. Yeah, you kind of lift up at a diagonal away from the source of the wind and are now 15 feet in the air. Okay, the hobgoblins get to go. Oh. Okay, sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. The hobgoblin who was attacking Lucretia has been swept toward the bow. There is one coming up on Danos. So a hobgoblin climbs over the side near where Danos was watching for the submerged ship with an axe, and he swings the axe at Danos. And that would be a 20 AC.
That will hit.
Okay, so he swings the axe around, and it scrapes against Danos's armor against your shoulder. I assume you're wearing some kind of armor, are you not?
Yes, I've got studded leather on.
Okay, yeah. So it scrapes against your brigandine there, and pieces of your cloak tear free. You take 3 points of slashing damage, and the creature goes ha, distracting you long enough for a second hobgoblin to try and jab you with a sword behind. Only gets a 10 though. I don't think that's going to hit you.
Nope.
Okay, so we can say that Danos may have fought hobgoblins in the past, and you're familiar with their technique, their standard tactic of ganging up on enemies and coordinating their attacks. So you were expecting it, so you move out of the way and the sword misses you. Okay. No other... Okay, there's a hobgoblin who is going to take an attack, who's going to fire an arrow at Ansari. However, he is shooting through a gust of wind. So the arrow comes toward Ansari, but Ansari is sweeping the gust around, and it just boom, flings the arrow off into the sea. All right, Danos, your turn.
How many hobgoblins are left?
There are 4 hobgoblins currently on the deck, one of whom just got knocked into the rail by the gust of wind. Another one has steadied himself, and then there are 2 near you.
Okay.
The one who has steadied himself was the one who loosed an arrow at Ansari.
And how close would you say they are to one another?
To one another, they're within 5 feet of each other.
Excellent. So if I were to say unleash a thunder wave...
Yeah, you could hit both of them.
Okay. Yeah, and I wouldn't be hurting any of the civilians, right?
Correct.
All right, let's hit them both with the thunder wave.
So you pull out some kind of small device, or maybe a large device. What does your thunder wave projector look like?
Okay, so it's it's like a paper, almost looks like a paper accordion with a little metal square funnel at the end. And when I slam the paper accordion shut, a huge noise comes out the end, along with a forceful wave of sound and wind.
Okay. So they have a saving throw to make, yes?
They do. They have to make a 13 DC Constitution save.
Okay.
If they fail, they're going to take 9 thunder damage and be pushed 10 feet away.
Both of them made their saves.
Okay, so then they're going to take 4 damage and not be pushed.
Okay. We'll say that your thunder wave device, you slammed it and it produced like a wong, but not like a huge blast, and they managed to withstand it. They still look a little startled. Okay. Anything else?
That's really all I can do on my turn.
Okay, great. All right, so it's now Captain Ceres' turn. She's going to run up and try and help Danos. Okay, she runs up and jabs a sword into one of those hobgoblins. Okay, so the hobgoblins have been befuddled by the thunder wave, even though it was just kind of a minor thunder wave. And they were like, and then the captain comes and just runs her sword through one of them, who goes down and spatters blood over Danos and the captain. And now you are facing just one Danos. Okay, Lucretia's turn. You're now flying up in the air again. There's this horizontal column of wind below you that is now directed, you can see, at the spot where the ship ran into the submerged ship.
Okay.
It might be keeping any other hobgoblins from climbing up over the rail.
Okay.
All right.
I will look for the next nearest hobgoblin that is not presently in the column of wind.
Okay, yeah. There's one who has got a longbow, and he is the one who took a shot at Ansari.
All right. I will use my bonus action to move my hunter's mark to that guy. So this kind of.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to ask, but you were already saying.
Yeah. So it kind of appears as a kind of a burning crimson glyph that appears on the hobgoblin, possibly on the forehead.
Okay.
And then she will soar in to try to strike that one. So let's see if I hit. 9 this time.
Hey, that hobgoblin sees you coming and steps aside as you bring your sword down. You hack a little into the bow and into the rail, and then wrench your sword back out in time for the hobgoblin to have drawn his own sword and face you.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Lucretia will just kind of turn and point her sword at the hobgoblin.
Okay, and Sari. So you're still maintaining the wind.
Yeah. I feel like I want to do something to take advantage of the bardic inspiration, but
well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
You maintaining the wind appears to be, you kind of are cutting the deck in half, the battlefield in half. Like, things can't go from one side to the other, and you seem to be capturing a good chunk of the deck so that the hobgoblins can't seem to get much onto the ship, like you're holding them at bay. While you are maintaining the wind, you can do other things. Like you can make other attacks and stuff.
Oh, okay.
You just can't cast another concentration spell. Otherwise, you'll lose the gust.
Yeah. Well, let me do a different spell then. Sorry, I'm just clicking through to make sure that this is not. Yeah, it's not concentration. Yeah, ice knife.
Okay.
So she's gonna so the one that was shooting at her, Lucretia is taking care of.
Yes, Lucretia has engaged the one that was attacking you. There's still a hobgoblin attacking Danos, and there's still one who's kind of struggling against your column of wind.
Leave that one for now. So I'll ice knife the one that's on Danos.
Okay.
So that is a ranged spell attack. And do I have to decide if I'm going to use the d6 on the
You
attack
can
roll before I make
roll-
it?
You can roll the attack roll and then add it
Okay.
before I tell you the result.
All right. And I'm definitely going to do that. So that is 16.
Okay, that's going to hit. Now remember, you can also use this on damage if you want to.
Well, I just used it on the attack roll. So.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Yeah.
All right, so you hit.
All right.
Go ahead and roll me the damages.
9.
Okay, so yeah, that hobgoblin is righted himself and is wheeling around to attack the captain when an ice knife sinks into his chest and he goes down. Okay. That makes it the remaining hobgoblin's turn. So there's one still fighting Lucretia. He is going to take a swing at her with his sword. Ooh,
All right.
21 to hit.
Ooh, that will hit.
Lucretia, you did put your armor back on before you started scouting,
Yes.
but apparently you were a little distracted by, being at sea and not being super comfortable in the armor, and you really should have strapped that plate down because the sword slides up under it, and you take 6 points of damage.
she'll growl.
Okay. The hobgoblin barks in glee. Unfortunately, that he does not have a fellow near him. Otherwise, he would do more damage, theoretically. All right, the one who was trapped in the column of wind is going to fight his way through. Let's see. Okay, yeah, he did succeed. He staggers out, and he picked the side with Lucretia and his other friend. So that one is close enough to take advantage of their pack ability. So here we go. Gonna attack at Lucretia. Okay, he rolled a 4. So he swings back his axe, ready to strike, and his axe goes into the column of air and goes boom, off the ship. He pulls out a dagger. Okay, so not a successful turn for that particular hobgoblin. Okay, Danos, your turn.
What,
All right.
what do we have left in terms of hobgoblins?
Okay, so the crew has largely pushed back the raiders. There is a horizontal column of wind, a gust of wind that is kind of bisecting the battlefield, the deck. On the other side of that gust of wind, there are 2 hobgoblins who are flanking Lucretia. You see one of them reach back with this massive battle axe, but unfortunately he reaches back into the gust of wind and the battle axe goes flying off the boat.
Well done.
That's
And
what you can see.
And there's no more hobgoblins on my side.
Just those 2 on that other side of the wind.
All right, so I'm gonna make my way around Ansari, so as
Okay.
not to try and fight my way through the wind, and I'm gonna plunk the nearer hobgoblin with my crossbow.
Okay. So, let's see. Ansari is standing on the raised back deck, kind of projecting the wind at a slight downward angle. So you can actually stay on the lower deck and go under where the wind is not.
That works for me.
Okay.
I'm just trying to avoid having, my bolts fly out of my hand.
Right, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll duck under, and then I'll engage at range with the nearer.
It's a surreal experience. It's like there's this windstorm just raging right above your head. Like you've seen Magitech generators produce things like this, but it is remarkable that a person could be doing this.
I'm
Anyway,
wondering
all right.
how her fingers aren't flying off.
Okay, so you get to the other side. You have a pretty clear shot. Lucretia is there in between these two hobgoblins, one of whom has a sword, the other has a wicked looking, but it's just dagger.
Yeah. So whichever one is nearer, because I don't want to try and I want to try and avoid hitting Lucretia. I'm firing my crossbow, and I rolled a 15 to hit.
Okay. Yeah, your bolt does strike the one with the sword.
Okay, so this is one of those magically generated bolts that comes from my enhanced crossbow. So a little purple shaft of light comes flying out the end and thunks through his armor, whatever it may be made out of, dealing 4 points of damage.
Okay. Yes, you with your Magitech crossbow shot that hobgoblin right in the butt. Ah! And he leaps around and looks back at you, enraged. Okay. It's the end of round 2. All right, the captain is all right. She goes first, and what she is going to do is she figures that you three have this, so she is going to rally the rest of the crew to hold off any additional raiders. But she is going to shout out, "Hey, Wings! You can do this! I believe in you!" And Lucretia, you get a bardic inspiration. So you have a d6 that you can use for attack or for a damage roll.
Nice. All right.
Okay, and sure enough, it is your turn.
Lovely. Well, this guy is still marked by me, so I'm going to swing at him, and I will use that d6. First off, that's a 7. So I said I'm going to use it. And I'm going to use it.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't use. It only makes it a 10. Unfortunately.
That is not going to hit. So the wind is distracting. Like it's just kind of hard to, get your bearings around the storming power. Also, you were not expecting him to suddenly jump and go and because he just got shot in the butt. So yeah, he manages to knock your sword away. All right.
All right.
And Sari.
Well, I got one more round with the wind, right?
Yep. You gonna maintain it, or are you
Yep.
gonna sweep it over onto those 3?
Well, I mean, it's no fun maintaining. So
All right. Lucretia, make a strength saving throw, please.
Okay.
sorry, I warned you.
No, we're good. We're good. 15.
It's a DC
14.
14. Okay. Now,
Okay.
Lucretia, you made it. You're fine. One of the hobgoblins, the one with the sword, also he drives the sword down into the deck and is kind of holding himself there, holding against the wind. The one with the dagger was like, "Ha ha, ha ha!" and he goes flying over the bow. Okay. So now it's just Lucretia and that one hobgoblin facing off against, teeth gritted against the wind. He continues holding himself with the longsword, and he pulls out this wicked-looking battle axe in his other hand, and he swings that at you. He got a 12. All right.
Okay,
So
now
you just you can duck out of the way. The axe sweeps past your head. All right, Danos. So you're now watching these two fighting in the midst of this gust of wind, just holding themselves against it. Lucretia has just managed to just push back hard enough, and her wings are billowing out behind her. But she's just holding herself. The goblin is holding himself only with the sword jammed into the deck. What do you do, buddy? You are muted.
I'm gonna draw out my it looks like a hammer, but it's got the stats of a mace. It's a
Okay.
it's a modified smithing hammer with a really kind of narrow head. And I'm gonna
For detail work. Yeah.
for detail work like kneecaps.
Okay.
And I'm gonna avoid as best I can. I'm gonna avoid the wind, and I'm gonna approach this this hobgoblin and smash him in the nearest available body part.
All right. You think you could get to just behind him without going into the wind? Like he's standing at the wind, but inside the wind, but he's at the edge of the wind.
All right. And Lucretia's also engaged with him, so that wouldn't that give me advantage?
No, I don't know.
Okay. I'm asking, you tell me. But let's hit him anyway.
Yep.
How does an 18 do?
Flanking is tricky to adjudicate in the theater of the mind. 18 is going to hit.
Okay. For 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay, so you smash into the side of his leg, which immediately crumples. And he is going to make another save. Oh, he does make it. Okay, now he falls to the ground, but he's still clinging to the sword. And he's still standing. Oh man, this hobgoblin, man. All right. Anything else? No? Okay. Lucretia.
all right. Let's go. Hobgoblin. Tricky little. Oh, come on.
All right. So you swing your sword, and you miss. Again, you're fighting in the midst of the gust of wind, so you know that it just makes sense.
I have not rolled like above a 4 the last 3 attacks.
Look, the Arcana have turned against you. Okay, Ansari.
Well, so you said that the gust of wind had half left, so that's 30 seconds. That's
5 rounds.
oh, okay.
And I think it's been going for 4? This is the 4th round?
This is the 4th round, yeah.
This is the 4th round. Okay. So it would be this round and then one more round if you want to maintain it.
Okay.
You can also redirect it if you want to.
Well, so there's that one hobgoblin left, right?
Mm-hmm.
And friends fighting him, right? So I would get Danos if I redirected onto that one.
It's already on him. You do realize, you remember back when you first started using the gust of wind, when you filled the sails, it made the ship lurch.
Mhm.
So if you did that, it might disrupt that hobgoblin without necessarily harming one of your allies. That's just an insight that occurs to you. Not saying you have to do that.
No, I mean, that seems like, well, so, and also if we could sort of break away from their ship, somewhat. That seems like a good thing. So she'll put the wind back into the sails.
Okay. So you redirect the gust, and like as the gust rises up and kind of projects upward at a slight diagonal, it kind of like, you don't lift the ship. The ship is way too heavy for that. But you do kind of bounce the ship a little bit. Like it bucks, right? And that frees it up from the ship that it has run into. And you just slide over the submerged ship with this horrendous sort of sound. Meanwhile, your friends, no longer in the gust of wind, the ship, bucks up in the air. I'm going to need each of you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
All right, dexterity. 14.
13.
Okay. Danos, you do fall over. Lucretia, you keep your feet. The hobgoblin does fall over. All right, it's his turn. He's now lying there without his sword, just has his axe. Allie's eye is twitching. And he kind of like staggers up to his feet. And he's going to take a swing at Lucretia. Like he has no way out, so he's going to attack. Yeah, no, you casually bat his axe aside with your sword. Okay. That makes it Danos' turn. Danos, you are down on the ground. The ship is moving again, freed of whatever was blocking its course. Lucretia is once again fighting with that hobgoblin.
I'm right next to the hobgoblin as well.
Yep.
So I'm gonna kind of raise up just enough to smash down with my mace again.
Okay.
$21.
Yes, that definitely hits.
7 points of damage.
You smash the hobgoblin's foot. Just smash it into the deck, like you're hammering a nail. Particularly difficult nail. It's just refusing to go down, and you just boom, and his foot goes partly into the deck. The hobgoblin goes ah, and then Lucretia takes him out with the backswing. So by your efforts combined, you've defeated the hobgoblin. All right.
She just looks down at the thing and she just goes, rot.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
So
I know we're gonna wrap up, but I want to see. Or is the thing that stopped us still in location, or has it moved away?
All right. So the ship has slipped past it. However, like you can see it going on the side, and it appears to be a submersible vehicle. Like in your studies, you know that this is possible, and that you have been, like, colleagues have been working on this kind of technology, but you didn't know that it existed, like that anybody had got it to work. There have been horror stories about people who went under the water and never returned, and were found later washed up on the shore, crushed, that kind of thing. Anyway, so you see the thing kind of bobbing in the water, and then you realize that the ship that you're on is starting to kind of slow down, and you hear shouts from below deck that say, "Bail! Bail harder! Harder!" And you realize that the ship is starting to sink. Somebody tore a big hole in the ship, and that somebody might have been me. All right, and that's all the time we have for tonight. So I have been Eric Scott V. Thank you for coming with us on this journey. You could find my work online on Twitter as long as it lasts, on Facebook as long as I last, and yeah. Everybody enjoy the D&D movie. I'm sure you will have seen it by the time we talk next, and maybe we'll have actual things to say about it. Won't that be exciting? Anyway, take it away, Allie.
Hi, everybody. I am Alexander Pitchford. As I said at the top, I am a writer, game designer, and TTRPG streamer. I am usually here. You can also find me on twitch.tv/polishedcryptid on Tuesday mornings in the States. So very kind of early-ish, but still Tuesday mornings for a stream called The Wandering Menagerie. That one's a lot of fun. And if you want to check out any of my work or check out my Patreon or what have you, you can find me at alexandrapitchford.card.co, dropping a link in the chat. Thank you very much.
Hey, I've been Rhiannon Held. Check out my books. My space opera series I write under RZ Held is now complete. So if you are someone who likes complete series, check it out. It will be on sale very soon. The first 4 together in the compendium called Idyllian is going to be just 99 cents. It's going to be great. And the Narrative sale from April 1st to 3rd. And tonight, thank you to our moderators, whoever could make it. I think I saw Rumpus Imperator was around, but in general, Meyer, Doug, Selderine, Shay, Allie.
I was keeping an eye on it.
Yep.
Brian?
Brian?
You muted, Brian.
No, it wouldn't unmute.
Ah.
So
okay.
I was and remain Brian. You can find me on the internet, or not. That's cool too. I don't mind not being found. And thanks everybody for sticking around. This was a lot of fun. Thanks Eric for running the game for us. Thanks to Yang Yang for producing. And we'll see you next time, I guess.